It is Ascension Sunday. It marks the day that Jesus ascended to heaven. And we have a variety of lectionary pieces that we can use on this Sunday. One is the reading that you have just heard, this continuation from last week's discourse. There is also another one, and one that you're probably very familiar with, and that is the account from the Gospel of Luke and from the book of Acts that describes the ascension. And what it is 40 days after Jesus is resurrected and he is going around and teaching and making himself known, making known the fact that he is resurrected. He collects his followers one last time and says goodbye, and then his feet begin to leave the earth. And if you want to talk about a long, awkward goodbye, he slowly floats into the air while everybody watches. And it is a fantastic tale. I don't mean fantastic in the sense of, wow, that's cool. I mean fantastic in the sense of, wow, do I have to believe that actually happened to believe everything else about Jesus? Because that seems a bit unusual. What's troubling about it is that Jesus is ascending from this earth to another place. He is going to be with God in another place. We're staying here, they're going there. Now, if God said everything is good after God created everything, then why does God live someplace else? If Jesus came to save the world, then why does he bust a move out of here a month after he's resurrected? And the problem is that your worldview, your view of the cosmos, is going to shape your theology. Your theology is going to shape your worldview. So if you believe that this world is a place, a waiting room, it's not as good as where God and Jesus live and we'll join them someday, it's going to affect the way we treat this planet. And we've seen that. It's going to have actual implications for the health of this planet. The other implication is this. If you believe that God is up there with Jesus in this better place, what kind of disconnect does that create for you in your daily sense of relationship with God? Do you feel God's presence if you believe that God is zillions of miles away in a better place and we're just left alone? Are we left alone? I think that Jesus' words today suggest that that isn't how the world really is structured. Remember last week he talked about the Holy Spirit. He said, I'm leaving, but I'm leaving so that the Holy Spirit, God's Holy Spirit, may not just be amongst you, but within you. God's Holy Spirit, not just amongst you, but within you. And then he goes on in today's reading to create or to illustrate the relationship between God and Jesus and God and humankind in a way that suggests we do not worship an absent God. In this discourse today, he speaks of several kinds of unity. One is the unity between Jesus and God. I am in you, you are in me, he says. Earlier in his ministry, he had said, the Father and I are one, which baffled people. Now he tones it down a little bit, but the meaning is still there. He says, I am in you as you are in me. And what this says is something about the character of Jesus, of who Jesus was. We need to wrestle with what this means. You don't just listen to it like poetry. It's when he says that, what's he saying about the nature of himself? Then he says, and may the unity that I have with you be in them. So let's take this relationship and let's expand it globally. Everybody. So that all people may be in you. May have that connectedness with you. And then thirdly, which naturally flows from this, is if each person is connected to God, then naturally we're all connected to each other. The Holy Spirit does not come in chunks. It is a unified field. And we are unified with each other through the Holy Spirit.